Now to some new legal jeopardy for President Trump. It's all tied to that 2016 hush money payment to a Playboy model just before the election. And prosecutors have now reached a plea deal with the publisher of the National Enquirer, who admitted they paid Karen McDougal $150,000 to bury her story and help elect Donald Trump. ABC's David Wright is here with the story. Good morning, David.
Good morning, George. During the 2016 campaign, the Enquirer published stories that Donald Trump would use to attack his rivals and buried stories that might be detrimental to Trump. The question now, how worried should the president be that the Enquirer is now cooperating with prosecutors? Inquiring minds want to know, what sensational scoops might the National Enquirer have that are of interest to federal prosecutors?
They got O.J., they got Edwards, they got this. I mean, if that was the New York Times, they would have gotten Pulitzer Prizes for their reporting.
The publisher of Trump's tabloid, as it's been called, is Trump's friend David Pecker. In that plea deal just made public, AMI, the Enquirer's parent company, admits to paying $150,000 to former Playboy playmate Karen McDougal just 3 months before the election to kill her story about an alleged affair. And according to new details just released in the agreement, this was done at the request of the campaign to suppress the model's story so as to prevent it from influencing the election.
There were real feelings between the two of us.
Prosecutors also say Pecker and AMI tipped off Trump's longtime lawyer Michael Cohen that porn star Stormy Daniels was about to go public about her alleged affair with Trump. Cohen pled guilty to paying her off. Prosecutors say all of this was part of a plan the Enquirer's publisher concocted with the candidate 2 months after Trump announced he was running for president.
It grew increasingly to the point where nothing negative was reported.
Nothing negative about Trump, that is, but the supermarket tabloid was vicious about Trump's rivals. During the primaries, the Enquirer accused Ted Cruz's father of conspiring with Lee Harvey Oswald to assassinate JFK, and Trump gleefully seized on the story.
I have no idea whether it was right or not. They actually have a very good record of being right, but I have absolutely no idea.
It was not true, nor were any number of front-page exclamation points about Hillary Clinton. 6 months to live, Hillary gains 103 pounds. Hillary hitman tells all.
The Enquirer would be offered the most scandalous stories, and depending on the celebrity's friendship with David Pecker, those stories would either see the light of day or they'd be killed.
Despite its questionable tactics, the tabloid has been right on the money on other stories. It was the first to publish that infamous monkey business photo that ultimately brought down one-time Democratic presidential hopeful Gary Hart. And perhaps most significantly, back in 2008, the paper broke the story about Democrat John Edwards and his affair with Rael Hunter, which eventually saw Edwards stand trial for alleged campaign finance violations. Well, in Trump's case, AMI tells prosecutors it knew that some of what it was doing was in violation of campaign finance laws, but they did it anyway. And this morning, the AP reports that the Enquirer actually kept a safe of damaging Trump stories. What became of that safe and what secrets might have been inside it? You got to wonder, George.
Sure do. Okay, David, thanks very much for being our chief legal analyst, Dan Abrams, for more on all this. This is kind of a classic roll-up of a conspiracy. Michael Cohen cooperates, and that puts the National Enquirer and AMI in the crosshairs.
Well, that's right. And they also become, though, potentially the critical corroborating witness in this context. Remember, campaign finance laws are unique in the sense that they require you have to have known you were violating the law. It has to have been done on purpose. Typically, laws like manslaughter, for example, you don't have to have known the law to have broken it. But when it comes to campaign finance, you do. And so you've got Michael Cohen saying, look, I did this at the direction of and in the coordination with the President of the United States. That pretty much implicates the President. Now you've got AMI also saying it was done in coordination with the Trump campaign, which is now another piece of evidence that could be problematic for the President.
There's a little bit of a mystery there. They talk about unnamed people in the campaign. We don't know if that's President Trump or President Trump and somebody else, but we do know that this does create potential serious liability for President Trump.
No question. And the other question becomes, what else might AMI know? And here's the danger, is Robert Mueller's investigation is very narrow. There's a very specific mandate there with regard to Russia. The Southern District of New York, which is investigating this particular crime, which is the one that made the guilty plea with Michael Cohen, doesn't stop when Mueller stops. They're going to continue their work, and they may decide, you know what, there's more here that we found and other possible crimes.
And it is interesting they chose to reveal this yesterday when Michael Cohen is sentenced. That suggests, at least, that they are not done.
Well, there's no question that they're not done. But again, the Southern District doesn't finish. I mean, we talk about Mueller coming to an end at some point, right? And that's true. He's got a specific mandate. The Southern District of New York is an office in the Department of Justice that's going to keep going.
And they have jurisdiction over the Trump organization.
Absolutely, and in specifically this case.
Dan Abrams, thank you. Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.